welcome back to the Go Deeper podcast. Today, we're going to talk about side hustles. And I think you maybe opened my mind to side hustles. It wasn't that I didn't grow up around it. I mean, my parents worked corporate jobs, but my dad was always either he bought and sold real estate, he developed land, segregated it off. We had a restaurant that was a side hustle. We had a farm that was a side hustle. I think it's very hard to grow exponential wealth. And even in today's world, it's sometimes just hard to get by without a side hustle. And I think you have to humble yourself if you're barely getting by and ask yourself, how much time am I wasting that I could be working and make a few extra $100 a week, which an extra few $100 a week is $1,000 a month, which is tens of thousands of dollars a year, which if you do that over and over and over again, you grow wealth exponentially by just really being more purposeful with your time.
Sure.
So let's, cover several things. Where have we lived and had side hustles? How do we still maybe have side hustles?
Well, when you met me, I was doing like 10 different things.
He is the definition of a hustler. The song. I need that song in the background. When I say
I was doing all kinds of things from personal training, nightlife security, bartending, waiting tables, doing caterings, doing the catering was kind of like waiting tables, bartending for that. Restaurant business, my own gym business, selling gym equipment on the side. I mean, literally I could go on and on. And
a supplement business within the gym business, a tanning salon. I mean, we've lived side hustle our whole life.
My thing was always this. If there was $100 to be made, because I remember back when being young and I was like, man, if I could make an extra $100 a day, that is $3,000 a month. So let's just say I only made.
And that's a lot of money 20 years ago as a side hustle.
So exactly. So I was never, now, you know this, I was like barely sleeping and I'm working a lot of hours, but I was like, okay, if I make $10 an hour, and I'm just using this as a rule of thumb, but I worked 100 hours, I made $1,000 a week. So I'm like, okay, how can I cut my hours back, but have multiple means of income coming in to work smarter, not harder? And that's how my mind always thought, but I'll take it way back. Elementary school. I remember all the kids wanting bubble gum. And this is a funny story because bubblegum obviously was not allowed in school.
It was like a huge no-no when we were
Yeah,
in
it was
school.
huge no-no. And I loved bubblegum. And they sold 4 packs of there was 5 pieces in a pack of it. Bubblicious for $1. And so you could always usually find it on sale anywhere around for like 2 packs for $2. So I remember going and buying like $5 worth of it. And so I would have 20 packs and I would sell them at school for $1 a pack. And most of the kids, I created a little business and usually was selling about $20 a day. Now do the math on that. That's $15 profit a day.
What was your age? Manny's age?
Probably 3rd, 4th, 5th grade.
Yeah. Next year.
And so I had money because I normally would go with my dad to work, and I would work the restaurant on Saturday morning super early, and he'd pay me $10 a day. And so I remember as a young kid, like my son's age, going around and I had $100 minimum in my pocket. I'd wear a money clip and I would feel naked if I didn't have, because I wanted to be the guy that if I walked into the store to be able to buy me and my brother or whatever. And so looking back, I'm like, holy crap, I was making probably $50 to $75 a week profit as a young boy, plus working with dad. So I had that mentality to do that. And then, go ahead.
I think what most people don't pay attention to, and I think I realized it in my 20s, if I'm doing a side hustle when everybody else is either sitting at home or out spending money, I'm actually making double what that side hustle is bringing in, because I'm not over here spending it. And if you're not over here spending it, but you're making it, it's like you're making twice as much.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. A side hustle brings you a level of what I would consider financial responsibility and financial peace. And more so than anything, over these 20 years you and I have been together, and most of your life you've done this. And I did it too. Like, I raised lambs. I showed them at the fair. I sold them. That was a side hustle. I had, I think, almost $20,000 in my bank account by the time I graduated high school that I used to pay for my first few years of college, because I side hustled when everybody else was out playing on the playground. I had these animals that I was raising. There was a sacrifice to it.
Of course.
But there was also a level of peace, financial peace, and a level of confidence that came from hustling, that side hustle too, that was deposited into me. And I think that's what most people avoid, is they're actually digging themselves into a deeper hole by not having a side hustle.
Sure.
And they're longing for peace in whatever it is they're buying versus finding peace in the financial peace that a side hustle can give you. And in today's world, if you're barely getting by and you have time on the evenings and weekends to create a side hustle with a few extra $100 a week, like that gives you peace. That becomes your protection that you're longing for and stuff.
I don't think there's a bigger peace of mind than not having to worry about finances. And that's all I ever wanted growing up. So I never wanted, I still tell this, I posted something about this the other day, that like, I don't want to take my wife and family to any restaurant and have them say, Dad, can I order this? Or, hey, babe, can I get another drink? I cringe when I hear that because it just makes me want to pay for someone else's stuff, because I've been on that side too, where, and you know me back in the day, we just wouldn't go out. Because if Steven can't buy what he wants, I don't go look at the Ferrari. You know this.
Yeah.
If I'm going to look at anything, there is a potential chance that I may buy it. So I'm like, hey, if I can't afford it, I'd rather not go. Now, there's a lot of people who just love to window shop, and there is nothing wrong. I remember looking at watches as a young kid. But in my 40s, I am a very serious person when it comes to stuff like that. And
Because your time is more precious.
Right,
We don't
yeah.
have time just to go look.
Yeah.
We know what we want,
Right.
and we want to buy it.
Correct.
But the side hustles have allowed us to do that.
Correct.
The side hustles have also funded our life.
100%.
And we've never really lived off of our okay, so let's take it back in our 20s.
Okay.
Our side hustles gave us the peace and the financial ability to grow our real businesses.
I think our side hustle is how we ate.
1,000% it was how I ate. If I didn't have the nightclub and training, I would have never been able to stick it out growing my real estate business.
Well, so when Amber was in the midst of, I met Amber and she was working for a builder, and this is when the economy
Making
had
minimum
crashed.
wage.
And I told her, she drove a Hummer H3, and I told her, I said, Amber, I calculated your math or her mileage. She was spending over $1,500. This was in a gas crisis in 2008.
Gas was $4 a gallon.
Yeah, and she was spending over $1,500 a month in fuel to drive over an hour and a half to work and back every day. I said, quit your job and come work for me. And
we'd been together
a few months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Great wisdom.
I don't know what you were thinking.
The bigger the risk,
Yeah.
the bigger the reward.
And so when I told her that, I was telling her that because she was actually paying to go to work, which was wild because nothing was selling. And so to move up the story, when she tells me, hey, babe, I'm going to go into general brokerage, Amber didn't sell a house the first year. Negative tax return. But she was personal training at my gym. So I paid her a small salary to work my gym, and I let her basically keep all the personal training money that she was doing, plus bartending on the weekends. Back then, if I remember, you would make $200 to $300 to $500 a weekend in cash to bartending, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this was like our kind of like our side food money.
It was my food money. It was not my side food money.
Because you didn't have no other money coming in.
I had to live off of, I think I made $300 to $500 a weekend working at the nightclub. I would train, and I think I was charging them like $300 for maybe 12 sessions a month. And I had maybe like 5 people like that. So I had another like $1,500 coming in from there. So between the two of those, that's, let's say $3,000 for easy numbers. And then you would pay me a salary to work at the tanning salon. And I was selling 0 houses. So I was living off of $3,000 a month with a car payment. I couldn't even afford my own place to live, my own health insurance, trying to get my real estate business started, my own groceries.
We were
I had some college debt. Like I was paycheck to paycheck.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You said you still
the side hustle's not guaranteed.
Yeah, you
it's
had
like,
credit card debt, and you had
student loans,
car payment.
Yeah, car payment. I had all the things, but I had came from a world where I was making around $100,000 a year to like here back at square root zero. So it humbled me, and it made me realize like I can't just go buy and do the things I was doing. And those side hustles kept me afloat and allowed me to stay focused on the dream of building a real estate business, or otherwise like I would have had to have given up.
Well, you done the side hustle of bartending for 4 years while you were building your
I was
business.
making, and I tell this story often. I was well into selling 65 houses a year, making well into the six figures before I even gave the side hustles up. Because at that point in time, the side hustles were no longer about the money that I was making from them. They were about the contacts and the relationships I was building in the side hustles, which then helped my real estate business over here.
You meet a lot of
A
people
lot
in
of people.
public, whether it's restaurant, nightclub,
Gym.
gym. You meet a lot of people. You can't help but eventually, after you see somebody 30 times, kind of strike up a conversation.
Well, I was developing relationships
Right,
with
you
these
were.
people because they either came to our restaurant, they either came to the nightclub, they came to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So the more I stayed in front of them, the more they also saw me over here like hustling and doing open houses every weekend, starting to sell houses. I put myself out there on social media more.
But people like to see young hustlers.
1,000.
And
I will
me and
support a young hustler all day, every day with a good attitude.
me and Amber, and let's take it even to Daniel.
Yeah.
When I see this kid come to me who, and I'll put it on camera, tells me, man, I used to be a lazy piece of shit. And
He's creative.
I've helped him and he's helped me, but I've helped him build his business and give him that mindset of like, hey, we work 20 hours that day if we need to. I now can say I'm proud of him because I love seeing, I had a lot of people see that in me. And you know this. Go ask anyone about Steven, whether they like me, don't like me. Nobody will ever knock my hustle.
No.
Nobody will ever knock. And most of them will say how hard he's worked from a young boy
Yeah.
because nobody can deny that. I have put in the work. Now, did I do some shit that like I probably didn't want to do in the sense of, you know, my God, overworking?
That's what hustling
Right.
is. It's not glorified in a way that like you're doing your dream life. You're hustling to get by for your dreams.
I don't think you see the fruits of your labor till years later.
Well, you're in the struggle.
Right.
A side hustle is something you should do when you're in survival mode.
Right.
If you're in survival mode and you're not helping yourself, I don't always feel bad for you
Sure.
because you have the same opportunity we did. We worked well into making six figures before we gave up our side hustles, but our side hustles help fund our business in multiple ways. And I think oftentimes people don't value what they can do for themselves.
Right.
They're looking for a handout versus value what you're able to actually give yourself by doing a side hustle.
Right.
Because I think God rewards you for going above and beyond and doing the things that most other people don't want to do. Like I think we were rewarded for having a side hustle. A side hustle also keeps your momentum high. It keeps your mindset right. It keeps you doing and being, and it keeps you in a flow
Yeah, I
of
agree.
momentum. Where if you're going to work and coming home and sitting at home and struggling, that puts you in a bad headspace.
Well, I
And then
always
you
tell
attract
people-
other bad things around you.
I always tell people, Amber, if anyone watching this, if I went up to you every day and gave you $100 bill, I guarantee first thing in the morning that'd put a smile on your face.
1,000%.
I don't care how much money you got.
But you can do that every day. There's in today's internet world, there's a way to make an extra $100 a day at the touch of everybody's fingertips in some capacity.
Almost every weekend, do we do an online sign up at my gym?
Yeah.
Or every day sometimes.
Yeah.
This has been a game changer for that business.
Yeah.
And it's like making money in your sleep. I call it like mailbox apartment money, having multiple apartments. But
Why don't we tell your story so people understand you saying
Okay.
that? Let's tell your story of you owned a nightclub, sold the nightclub, but at the meantime, like your gym, tanning salon, nutrition company,
it's not doing good.
it was a side hustle.
Right. Well,
It was your dream, but at the time it started as a side hustle.
Well, it was my place that I just wanted to be able to go with my friends to have a good place to train
Okay.
with no judgments.
So let's talk about because I want people to understand like how Super Finish used gym equipment was birthed out of that. Because that was a side hustle birthed out of the business.
Yeah. So I had bought and sold equipment before I met Amber in 2008. And it was literally just like,
Not as a business.
not as a business. No, but like,
And that's the story I want you to tell. Why did you start selling equipment?
okay, so when I first opened my studio, I realized it was very difficult for somebody like me to call a manufacturer. And also I realized I couldn't afford it. And
Brand
so
new equipment.
brand new equipment. And so I was like, man, what do I do? And so when I bought the original equipment, I had made a man and done a trade for my motorcycle and some money.
Hustling.
Yeah, literally hustling. And that was his idea, which is crazy to think about. And there was some things that I bought that I, didn't love. And then I wanted to constantly acquire. And this is when the economy was going to shit. And there was mom and pop gyms going out everywhere. I didn't have a truck or trailer. So I would literally take my father's truck and trailer, and I'd find somebody off of Craigslist back then. And there would be gyms closing everywhere. And I'd show up with, let's say $2,000-$3,000 of cash, and I was going to get two pieces. And I met Amber shortly after this, and I would literally put I'd go there for two pieces, and we'd usually come home with 4 or 5, because when I got there, they said, Stephen, do you need anything else? We'll cut you a deal if you're buying, other pieces.
They were just happy to have a buyer.
Right. And
But
most
you-
people have
you
no
make
place
it-
to put it.
You make it on the buy, though.
You make money on the buy. This is with any sale. What had started this earlier, I had started selling even before I met Amber, some cardio pieces. And so this is how I had a member of the gym want a elliptical. And if you remember, I bought my first elliptical, I think in 03 or 04. I just purchased a townhome, and it was just for my bodybuilding, but it was a commercial elliptical out of the gym. And I think I paid $1,200 or $1,500 for it. I can't remember. And so, but it was like a $6,000 elliptical, and it looked almost brand new. And I used it and then moved it to my gym. And one of my people that we were training was like, Stephen, I love this elliptical. And if you've ever been to a gym, you'll know that a gym member will go to that same treadmill every day, or that same elliptical every day. So it's just, they feel comfortable on that one. So they said, can you get me one, or would you sell this one? And they asked me what I paid for it. And me just being very honest the way I am, I said, yeah, I paid $1,500, whatever it was. And they were like, God, Stephen, I'll take it for that. And it kind of shocked me. And because I had had it for 4 years or 3 years or whatever it was at the time. And so I was like, really? I was like, hell, I'll sell it to you, because at the time I needed that $1,500 to go buy other pieces, and I'll replace it or whatever. And I'm literally side hustle. Robbing Peter to pay Paul
is what we call side hustles.
So I sell the elliptical, and it kind of like sent a light bulb off, like, golly, I got to use that thing. And that's how Super Fitness gym equipment kind of was born. It was never about making money. If you remember, I just was happy to be able to use the equipment for free and then be able to sell it. And
I think the light bulb went off. I remember one time we went and bought like 5 pieces of equipment. I think it was in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And you came back and you sold 3, but it paid for the 2 pieces of equipment we had sitting in the gym.
Sure.
So you were sitting there operating a gym with 0 debt in the equipment, which very few gyms operate that way, unless they have a financial backer of some capacity. And I looked at you and said, do you realize that we're making more money selling this gym equipment than we are actually like running and operating the gym?
And I didn't realize anything at first.
Well, because you get so, and I think this is where it's good to have people in your life. You can get so in a tunnel vision where you're not looking up to see, like that side hustle is a business idea.
Sure.
And this is when you need to like lean in and take a jump and say, let's elevate this and make it become a business.
Sure.
And I think you've had other pivotal moments in the Super Fitness gym equipment business since
100%.
then, where you grew it to a certain level. And I'm like, okay, we really need employees now.
Yeah.
We really need our own LLC now. We really need to operate this as a business, because it is a business.
Well, I think I fought it for a long time.
Yeah.
Thinking that's not what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, why? What is going on? And then you remember, and I won't name any names. It's crazy because I just posted this reel the other day, that like how many people just didn't see my vision. Yeah. And so many people didn't even understand what I was doing. And then
I think you saw the vision. I think you allowed the world to influence you.
It could be.
And that fear took over your vision of what you were trying to create. Yeah. I think you saw it all along.
Sure.
But you were being told, like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to sell gym equipment all around the world? And I think when you're growing and following and chasing your dreams, you have to be so cautious on who you let criticize you, because that could have easily dimmed your sparkle where you never would have taken off and
the biggest thing was
created this huge, massive company.
I was already doing it. And if you remember during the time, there was a time in like right shortly after I met you that we couldn't find a lot of equipment. Do you remember? It was like a point in time that I was like struggling. And I also think it was the financials. And I had found a couple deals and I didn't have the money. You remember? And a good friend of mine, Aaron, he said, dude, I think I was just in like casually.
Tunnel vision.
Well, I was casually talking to Aaron.
Yeah.
Just telling him what I was doing a little bit. And he was like, bro, if you need some money, like I'll split it with you.
Yeah.
And you can use my warehouse to store it. You remember? So I've done 2 deals with like one of my best friends, and like no questions asked. He split the money with me. I went and bought the equipment, and then we stored it at his warehouse, and I sold both deals, or me and him sold both deals, whatever you want to call it. And I was so grateful for that moment, but it also showed me that like I can do this. But then I remember shortly after, I couldn't find any big deals because I wasn't in the know.
You didn't have the right relationships yet.
No.
And gratefully so, like God did align you with people like strategically at gas stations
Oh,
sometimes.
100%.
I think sometimes you can limit your own growth by going after it too hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if it's your purpose and what you're supposed to do in life, like sometimes those opportunities will come right past you. And you need to make sure you're looking up and taking advantage of them.
Well, that's
because
what I was
those are the pivotal life moments that will like catapult your business forward.
Well, a guy who I've done business with for God knows, damn near 20 years, 2 of them almost.
Yeah.
One particular gentleman, I met him the first time at a little piece of shit storage place, Paul.
Yeah.
And to buy one elliptical that turned into multiple, that turned into lifelong friendship. And then another guy, so I met him first. I don't even know how long ago later, I am installing a camera system of all things. So when I say side hustle, we used to do a lot of things for money.
It's another side
So
hustle we did.
My right-hand guy, Bryce, me and him and another guy used to install camera systems kind of on
And
the
that was
side.
really Bryce's idea.
Oh,
You were
yeah,
his
yeah.
Financial backer.
Yeah, I was the
side hustle.
financial backer / kind of acquiring the clients and stuff, because normally I
People
got
come
the
to you.
deal. Yeah. People came to me for stuff like that. But anyways, I'll never forget, I ran to get us some energy drinks at the gas station in Whitsett. And there's a Precor T-Bar 411 on the back of a pickup truck. Now, that is getting into some nerdy shit of that I know the numbers for this machine. And it was brand new. And a guy's walking out of I'm walking in to the store, and this guy, I'm staring at it. I'm like, who has got this piece of T-Bar row in my town? And this was kind of hard to get, and it was brand new. And so I said, sir, that's a nice T-bar row you got. And he said, that's a nice medium you're wearing. Like talking about my shirt.
Your tank top.
This is how
Not
me
even
and
a
this guy
shirt.
met. His name's Tim.
And he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's
old
a
enough to be your
300-pound
father,
dude.
but
Yeah,
he's a big dude too.
Yeah, he's a big dude. And he was shocked that I knew what that was. And I told him that I own a small gym in town. I don't even know if I mentioned gym equipment at the time. Well, anyways, I didn't think a thing of it. That was our first interaction. So he kept seeing me on Craigslist, if you remember. And then
he saw you hustling.
he saw me
and
hustling.
he saw you were standing out to him.
Right.
And you got his attention.
Right.
That you were maybe a person that he needed to pour
Well,
into.
he kept writing me, if you remember. And I finally met up with him, and I'd done business with him for years.
And I'll never forget the first time we ever went to his warehouse. And we walked in and it was like Toys R Us for gym equipment. And like your eyeballs lit up like you can have this much gym equipment in one place. And it's like full circle that people like come to your warehouse and
Now.
like experience that now. We're numb to it now. But like if you would have walked into your warehouse 20 years ago.
Oh my God. I would have shit.
But it's reality.
Today,
And
3 times people walked in today.
It's amazing to see like that side hustle aligned with who you were and your purpose. And it became such an amazing business.
Well, even now, like when people, I hate to say it, but me and Amber was in a designer store just recently. And there's a gentleman who literally, he stopped, he paused. He was helping somebody and he paused for a second. He's staring at me.
You startled me.
He startled me too. And I didn't realize what was going on. And I was like, and he said,
And we were in California. It's not a place we visited in
California, everybody.
over a decade.
Yeah, I've not been there, and this guy don't look like he's not a bodybuilder guy.
No.
And he said, "You're the gym equipment guy," and like in front of Amber, Daniel, and it stunned me. And so, and he was like, "I love watching your videos," and I wouldn't even have thought he watched my videos, but. Now when I get that recognition, it's like almost hard to even, because this started as just like me loving gym equipment.
But when you follow what you love and you do it and you lean in and you take the knowledge that you acquire over decades and you give that value and you pour it into other people, like that's what we're supposed to do. The side hustle is meant to fund our lives for a deeper purpose. I think we all get pigeonholed and we're just supposed to survive. Like we're supposed to do more than just survive. Your side hustle that used to make you survive is now making you thrive and impact people all over the world.
Sure.
But if you never would have started that side hustle, we wouldn't be sitting here having this
What
conversation.
people don't realize is, though, it was thousands of hours of learning the side hustle. You watched me. You'd come upstairs in our old house in the bonus room and
Studying the side hustle to be
at
an
midnight,
expert at it.
every night, 7 days a week, I would do this. And she'd be like, "Hey, babe, I'm going to bed." And I'd be like, "Okay." And she knows that I'm going to work till 3 or 4 in the morning. And I would literally and then I would make an individual ad with literally writing a very detailed and I would make myself, it started off at 10 ads, then 20 ads, then 50 a night.
You have
I'd
to
gotten
become
obsessed.
I was about to say, anytime you're wanting to take that side hustle and you see potential in it becoming a business, you have to become so wildly obsessed with that, every aspect of it. How to do it, what is it, what is going to be my profit, what's the demand, how do I get it out to the people that are it's in demand for? And that's what you were doing.
Well, there's no playbook.
No.
So I didn't know what the hell I
No,
was doing.
you had to create it.
Do you remember when I told you, I said, I'm going to create a Facebook account?
Yeah.
And like I had 0 followers. I posted for 6 months with not a phone call. And so when that account built up to 128,000 followers in like 16, 17, some of the videos are replaying back.
Yeah.
Like I've been posting one from 2016. And
Like we've been doing content a long time.
yeah.
It may not have been the level
And in the video,
quality
though,
that it needed to be, but you were doing it.
But if you heard the video, I said the words in 2016. I said, for everybody watching around the world, because my audience back then was like a lot of foreigners and a lot of, in 2016, I just can't even fathom that I've been doing it damn near 20 years.
Yeah.
And the side hustle that led me to could be a business for our son or daughter or whatever, I never intended on that. And this is where I think people really miss the boat on what you think could not be a solution to somebody. Like if you can create a solution to someone's problem, you can charge almost whatever you want, because that person, I always tell somebody in construction, because I'm not super handy, what may take you 30 minutes could take me 8 hours. So what is my value worth of that? So even if they charged me X for 30 minutes.
What's your time worth?
What's my time worth?
That you'd be sacrificing to do
Correct.
that exact same thing, probably less quality.
So like
and a lot more frustration.
My strengths are not Bryce's strengths.
Right.
And I can tell you damn well that his strengths are not mine.
No.
And so that's where, I had to put the people in place. And that's very difficult when you don't have the money, or if someone else can't see your vision.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You remember when we started filming, and I think a lot of people thought like, why are they doing this? And at first I think we just wanted to make impact, but maybe we didn't know why we were doing it till you get the first few heartfelt messages of like, sex and intimacy. That video basically got, I don't know, like almost shadow banned, because I guess the title, which is fine. But at the end of the day,
it made a big impact.
How many people approached us being like, I made my husband watch that video. I have made my wife watch that video. We appreciate you. Nobody commented, but I was shocked how many people told us this.
Yeah.
And this could be a side hustle that now I have some people saying, Steven, y'all are going to have one of the biggest podcasts one day.
And that's what I was about. I was sitting here thinking in my mind, like this podcast and essentially our content are side hustles in a different way.
Sure.
Just because we're at a different season of life.
Sure.
I think when you're young, you side hustle to survive. When you get older, you side hustle for purpose.
Right.
You side hustle for impact. You side hustle to just really pour into other people.
Right.
Like that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for this and the opportunity for you guys to plug into us every single week so we can pour into you. Like it fulfills us. I hope it fulfills you too, but like this is fulfilling to us. And a side hustle earlier on was fulfilling to know that we had money coming in, that it would give us the peace that we could survive.
Sure.
And I think there's times and opportunities where side hustles actually catapult you forward. And I think we're entering into an economy or a platform right now where, and we just had this conversation in Mary Carol's office. You said right now is the time to put your head down, go harder, hustle harder, go all in, because there's a lot of people scared and checked out. And 08, 09, when we started our businesses, there was a lot of people scared and checked out.
Yeah.
But we were getting up every day hustling. And more so than anything, it kept our minds right and it kept our momentum moving forward. And it trickled over to our other businesses where I remember saying in my mind, like, I don't care what the economy's like. Like, I'm hustling and I'm going to get my own fair share and I'm going to survive and
We
build
should
things.
never, anyone listening, you should never let any economy dictate your future and what you're going to do. You put your freaking head down and you grind it out. You've heard me say this 1,000 times over. If Steven lost everything tomorrow, I swear to God, I would go door to door, business to business, and shovel ditches for $10 an hour, whatever I needed to do in order to make it. I will make money day to day if I was stripped tomorrow because I am willing to put in the work and I'm smart enough. And I promise someone is going to see how hard I work and they are going to promote me to the next level. That's what's missing in life right now.
It's also called humble and humility.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people look at side hustles as like a negative thing. And you never should do that. If you're struggling and you're looking at other people like they have side hustles and you're looking down upon them, like shame on you. They're out there hustling, getting it, being humble. Like I will be the first to say, it was hard for me to let go of my side hustles because they gave me a sense of stability and peace, even when I was making 6 figures a year. So good for those people that are out there like hustling and getting after it.
Do
like,
you
I
remember
commend you.
telling me, like, this was months later, Amber looked at me and was like, babe, you got any cash?
Cash on the weekends.
Yeah, she was
I
like,
so much my cash on
she
the
was like,
weekends.
Amber don't ever have a dollar
Never
of
a
cash
dollar.
unless Steven gives it to her.
And thank God, yesterday I forgot my wallet at home, and luckily, like most places are tap. But I was like scurrying through my console in my car, like I need some dollars. I don't have my wallet with me.
And normally I give her some cash just so she's
but when
got
you're not
some.
around, I don't got no cash back up.
But it was funny to hear that because
Yeah.
I just feel naked if I don't have a little cash on me because in case the card reader wouldn't work. But I'll tell this, and this is where I love side hustles and I love meeting people with that mentality. I have 2 young guys drive down. One had just opened a gym in New Jersey, and I think New Jersey, and his friend comes with him. And I just love these 2, and they're like loaded on the trailer, and they reminded me of me because of the fact it's like I gotta have it. I know it's going to bring more people, and that was my mindset. I would lay it all on the line back then, and you would almost be like,
Still do.
I know, but you would almost be like, babe, do you really need that piece? And I'm like, what if it brings 3 more people to the gym? And I built the gym up just like that and still do.
It builds momentum.
So this guy tells me, he's like, I said, what do you do? Because they wasn't partners. And he said, well, you're going to think I'm crazy. And I said, what's that? And I hope he watches this because I got a kick out of it. And he said, well, I pick up dog shit. You remember me telling you about this? And I was like, well, what do you mean? He said, well, I charge a weekly fee and I go to your house and I pick up all the crap in your backyard. And it was like rich people's homes is the way he put it. I said, dude, it's pretty genius. So you're doing something that someone else don't want to do or can't stand to do.
And you can charge whatever you want.
Exactly. But it was super affordable.
Yeah.
We had quite a bit of accounts where he literally sends them a text and says, hi, I'll be at your house between 8:30 and 9 a.m. And like he just literally weekly picks up the dog
Think
food.
about the profitability of that business, though. They
It's
have
all
like
labor.
no overhead. They have no physical building. It's all labor.
He said
It's service.
literally 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Per thing. And I was like, I remember give him a knuckle and I was like, bro, I love it.
Yeah, what's your
That's-
dollar per hour
That's
income?
called hustle.
Yeah, yeah.
And most people, I guarantee he can make a few grand a month doing things like that. And I'm sure that's all dependent upon the area you're in and all this. But I have so many ideas like that somebody would think I'm crazy. We were just talking about Christmas lights.
Yeah. Me and Mary Carol were just talking about the cost to install Christmas lights.
I don't want to be on a second 20, 30 foot ladder with knee
But I
replacement.
want to see my house lined with Christmas
Okay,
lights.
there you go.
Next year when everything's done, that's what we're doing.
And so, everybody's like, oh, I've heard this a lot with all the insurances and stuff like that. A lot of people's like, oh, call the 1-800 number and bypass the agent. And this could relate to your business.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't want to be on the phone 1 hour or 2 hours or even 30 minutes.
What's your time worth?
With the 1-800.
It's like a for sale by owner
Right.
real estate. How much time is it going to take and frustration and aggravation and stress?
But are you actually going to save?
No.
And is that person looking after you? And then
No.
do you know the literature and the reading to really know what the hell you're doing?
No.
Maybe your deductible is a little different over here. So you're not comparing apples to apples. I trust my people.
Yeah.
And so if I had a problem, I know for a fact I can call and they're going to handle it for me. That's a big deal.
I want to say this, and maybe we can end on this.
Okay.
Side hustles, as you grow older and you generate wealth, actually become multiple streams of income.
Mm-hmm.
And our side hustles that we've held on to have either became business or are now substantial multiple streams of income, between renovating houses, buying and selling houses, owning Airbnbs, owning commercial buildings, and having a gym on top of our own super fitness gym equipment and the A team. Like, we do have multiple streams of income
Sure.
that we're all side hustles of some capacity. And I think if you really want to be financially stable in any economy, you should never have all your eggs in one basket.
No.
And you should always long to create multiple streams of income, which are the glamorous term of having side hustles.
Well, I'll keep going a little bit off what you said. Here's the beautiful thing I love about all the side hustles we've ever done, from waiting tables, bartending, selling gym equipment to people who I still sell to. When I was a nobody, they still buy from me now, and they remember the stories of, they'll sometimes tell me, oh, I came over here, Stephen, or I remember your first little storage place. The networks we created from them side hustles of shaking a man's hand. It got a lot of traction when I stated, I stayed in line and I met the guy and I talked to him for 20 seconds. The next year I met him again and I talked to him for 2 minutes. The next time I met him, I talked to him for 5 minutes. The fourth time I met him, he's saying, "What's up, Steven?" How many DJs have we met who we didn't know that they know us?
Yeah.
They know our name.
Because we've stayed up and supported and stayed loyal to them.
Correct. And these are famous people that just saw us in the audience at first, or that we've been to events and we're front row, and then the person on stage is like, "Yo, was at my last event." Things like that people don't forget. And that's called creating networking. And when you can create and shake hand after hand after hand, your side hustle, those same people will help you turn it into a business if you choose to. And that's where I'm so grateful of our side hustles, that even if they wouldn't have landed us into another business, those side hustles really created our networks that are very large.
Well, people stay loyal to who you are as a person.
Right.
No matter if you're selling gym equipment, no matter if you have a gym, no matter if you sell real estate. So those side hustles, especially for me, because I did not grow up in this area, really helped me create my database and my network and sphere of influence here locally. So I'm so grateful because it got me in front of people and helped me make my contacts every single day while making income that helped me build the dream life that I now have.
If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next one.